Hey everyone, in this video we are going to demonstrate setup and basic operation of PostgreSQL database. By the end of this video, you'll be able to install a Postgres database, create a database and user, load data from a CSV file, and query the data through Python. The audience is anyone who is new to data science, data engineering, or software engineering fields and wants a first-hand experience of setting up a database in a safe environment without the fear of losing valuable data. Without further delay, let's get into it. So I'm going to open my terminal. I use iterm. The first thing we need to do is install Homebrew. I already have Homebrew on my system, so I'm not going to do that. However, if you want to install Homebrew, you will find the link and command in the description. Now that you have Homebrew, we are going to install PostgreSQL. Brew install PostgreSQL. It will take a couple of minutes for PostgreSQL to install. Once PostgreSQL is installed, we are going to start the server and we are going to communicate with the server using psql, createdb and createuser commands. So brew services start PostgreSQL. If we don't start the server, these commands are going to give an error message. If you want to understand the psql commands, there is a help command, psql help. In this tutorial, we are going to go over some of these commands. I want to list the default databases, psql. These are the default databases. Now we will create a database. Createdb is the command, and let's name our database testdb. You can use any other name as long as you remember the name. Let's also create a test user. Create user is the command, and for consistency I'm going to name it test user. So we have created a database and a user. Now let's connect to the database. psql host localhost db name. Here we are going to specify the name of the database that we created in the previous step, testdb. Then specify the user that we created in the previous step, which is test user. There is a shorter version of this command, that is psql h localhost d testdb u test user. Now we are connected to the database. Let's list the tables in the testdb database. dt. There are no tables. In the next section, we are going to create a table. We are going to create a table. So create table. I'm going to name the table height weights. I want the index number to be an integer and the height to be a float and weight also a float. I want to see if this table is created. So let's type dt. Now the height weights table should appear here. Okay, let's see if we can list the column types. D and the name of the table height weights. Okay, now let's check if the table is empty. Select star from height semicolon. Perfect. There is no data. So in the next section, we are going to load data in this table. Now let's load data to our database. I have a sample CSV file, heights and weights. It can be downloaded from the link in the description. I have saved it to my desktop. Now I want to know the path to this CSV file from the root directory. So I'm going to navigate to the desktop folder on the shell using the cd command and then find the path using echo pwd and the file name, which is heights and weights.csv. Copy this path to the file and make sure you are still connected to the testdb database. If you are not connected, connect to the database using the command that we previously used. psql, then the host name, database name and the username. We are connected to the testdb database. Let's load the contents of the CSV file to the height weights table that we created in the previous section. So copy, then give the table name, that is height weights. From, we are going to copy the entire path to the CSV file with, and we are going to provide the details that we need, such as we need a header, true, delimiter, comma, format, CSV. So let's view the data in the table. Select star from height to weights limit 10. If the load was successful, you will see 10 rows of data. Let's find the average height and weight. Select average height, average weight from height weights. So here we got the average. Now I'm going to quit from the database, and in the next section we are going to query the data through Python. So in this section we are going to query data through Python. For that, first we are going to install psychopg2, which is the Postgres connector for Python. pip3 install psychopg2. Now let's install IPython. Start IPython on the command line. We will run Python commands one by one on IPython. Import psychopg2 as pg. Then we will connect to the database. And execute a SQL statement. And fetch it. Okay, now that this is working, we will exit and create a script to run the same statements from the command line. Let's create an empty file on the desktop and save the script. This will open Sublime Text and we will paste the script here. Save it. Now we will run this file from the command line. Okay, so this is how we can query data through Python. Thank you for watching.